Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am the Chall, and today Chall Chats the Euros. It's the third day of round of 16 matches. We've got one more to go today, which is Portugal against Slovenia. Stay tuned tonight from a review from that. We also have the final two games coming up tomorrow, which will involve Romania, Austria, Turkey, and the Netherlands. So make sure you do like, comment, subscribe from this one. Click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 500,000 views. Let's get there as soon as possible, please. Go and check out all the other videos, all the other round of 16 reviews. We also had a news update from St. Louis City on the departure of head coach Bradley Carnell. So if you're an MLS fan, go and check that out. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get straight into this one as France beat Belgium 1-0. I did say at halftime it was going to go 1-0 either way. And lo and behold, it goes to the better team of the two, and that was the French. So let's start off with your starting 11s. So kicking off with France, who line up in a 4-3-1-2 or a 4-3-3 alternate as well, with the attacking midfielder going out onto the left wing. So Mainen in goal with a back four consisting of Koundé, Upamecano, Saliba and Hernandez. We also had a midfield of Kante, Tchouaméni and Rabiot with Griezmann and Thuram either side of Kylian Mbappe. Of course, Griezmann is the attacking midfielder, also adapting to the left wing. For Belgium, it's a 4-2-3-1. It goes like this. Cohen Casteels in goal. A back four from right to left consisting of Castagne, Faes, Vertonghen and Theatre. A midfield pairing of De Bruyne and Onana with Doku and Carrasco either side of each other. A Penda operating with Romelu Lukaku in the attack. Of course, adaptable as a 4-4-2 today. So let's kick off then by talking about the losers today. Let's talk about Belgium. Now, for me, Belgium were not the best team on the day. They were lethargic, they were slow, they had some build-up play, which was good. There was some energy here and there, just not consistent enough. And like I spoke about in the first half, their final third work needs a hell of a lot of improvement if they're going to even come close to achieving some kind of success or some form of success in the World Cup in a couple of years, because we've no doubt that Belgium will be up there in terms of some of the European sides that will probably qualify for the World Cup in a couple of years. But for me, Belgium just lacked something. They lacked something, and for me, they lacked a bit of flair, they lacked a bit of zest and a bit of zip about them. And for me, I just feel like Belgium were lacking something in the final third. I didn't feel like their final play was good enough. I felt Doku could have put a few balls into the box, but didn't. I felt Doku had a couple of misses as well. I thought there were a few times where Belgium tried to play the long balls over, and it weren't working. When you've got a focal point like Romelu Lukaku, he might not have the pace, but he's a focal point. He's a target man. You get in the right areas in the box. You head the balls in from the cross in the box. You play the long balls, and he should be able to win the majority of the duels. But France won the majority of the duels from the long balls. And how long did it take before Belgium knew those long balls weren't working? I don't get it. Part of me felt like Belgium were just lacking any final third ideas and creativity. With 10 minutes to go, it was 0-0. Both sides weren't amazing, but France were edging it in terms of energy levels, in terms of creating opportunities. They were creating more opportunities than Belgium by an absolute country mile. So Belgium should have looked at the clock with 10 minutes to go and thought, right, throw the kitchen sink and go for it. They brought off a Penda. But again, it didn't really make an impact. It didn't really add anything new to the attack. And, I think he was on the bench today. Who was the one player for me, for Belgium, that could change it? Trossard. For me, Trossard could have been a better answer. And for me, I don't know what it was with Belgium. I just think they lacked something really specific in the final third. And I think it was just energy. I think there was a lot less energy in the final third in Belgium compared to France. And like I said, I think Trossard could have been a better difference maker. I personally felt like Trossard could have been much more of a difference maker. You look at the Belgian bench, and I've got it here actually. You look at that bench, Trossard didn't even come on. Tielemans didn't even come on. Johan Bakayoko didn't come on. I feel like some of the subs were wrong. I feel like some of the subs were 100% wrong, and I feel like there was changes that could have been made differently. And I felt Trossard would have made more of a difference. I felt like Tielemans would have made more of a difference. And I feel like Johan Bakayoko would have made more of a difference. I really do believe that. Belgium, for me, just lacked something very energy based. They lacked a lot of flair. They lacked a lot of urgency in the final third. And I just didn't feel like Belgium were going to win that game. I did say around about half time that it was going to go 1-0 either way, and it went the way of the French because they gave the one thing that Belgium were lacking, and that was final third and chance creation. And that ultimately gets you through the knockout stage, and it ultimately saves you from being knocked out. Moving into the French, and I'll be honest with you about the French. I thought they were better. I think it was clear to see that they were better. I thought their energy levels were better. I felt that their performance levels were increased above Belgium's. I felt Chouameni made things click in the midfield at times. I felt like Mbappe had the pace, the drive, the turn. He missed quite a few sitters though, so his final third, in terms of his actual chance scoring rather than chance creating, I think his scoring will be something to keep an eye out for. Obviously, he is playing with a suspected broken nose. I mean, he in terms of his finishing ability, it wasn't on it today. He was creating a few chances for himself and he was creating a lot of chances for other people. It just didn't come off. And it took a Kolo Muani turn and a deflection by Yang Vertonghen to actually put the ball in the back of the net for France. It was not a great game overall. It was a side with a bit more energy than the other, but the football itself wasn't spectacular. It wasn't the vintage France we all know and love. It wasn't the vintage France that won, the World Cup a few years ago. It wasn't the vintage France that we've seen in the past, in years gone by. It wasn't that same France team. And I think that part of it feels like France are going through very much a transition period. They've got a lot of young players ready to be called up to that squad. There's quite a few young players or younger players than the experienced heads already in that squad. I do feel like France are going through a bit of a transitional period. I think Belgium to an extent are as well because they've got the likes of Bakayoko, they've got Trossard still coming in, they've got Tielemans still coming in. They're going to have some younger Belgian players coming through in the next few years as well. I think France are in a transitional period also, but I think they're making the most of it because at the end of the day, yes, the football might not be the best in the world. What they're doing is they're making their opportunities count. And yes, you could say the same about England, but at the end of the day, England should be playing better. France know they are better. They know they're playing better, but they just lacked that final third. And I think that's the main Achilles heel here with France this year. It's the final third. It's the actual score and the chances. That for me is what's going to kill them in terms of further on in the knockout stages. I feel like the French are comfortable, but they're coming into an interesting tie in their next game, and it should be interesting to see what happens. So then, what is next for both teams? Well, the equation is simple for France. They've got to go for it, otherwise they will be left behind in the quarterfinal stage or even the semi-final stage. I feel like France just need to properly go for it. Like I said, there's a real lack of final third chance scoring, so I feel like that's going to hold France back in latter stages when they come up against better teams, when they come up against the likes of, Portugal, if they go through today, or Spain, or, people like that, Germany, if they get through Spain. There's a lot of great playing teams waiting for them. And for me, I don't have 100% confidence in France's chance creation and chance finishing to actually get them through to a stage where they can actually win this tournament. I think they'll get far. I think quarterfinals or semi-finals is where I think they'll go. I don't see them in the final. I don't see France in the final because at the end of the day, I believe in their side of the draw, they got Germany or Spain waiting for them. So you can't see France getting to the final off the back of that side of the draw. Um, from a Belgian point of view, like I said, I think they're in a bit of a transitional period. I feel like there's some younger players coming through, your Bakayokos. You still got your people like your Trossards and your Tielemans that I think need to be playing a lot more often. I think with De Bruyne reaching the latter stages of his career, there's not many tournaments left for him, so it is very much a transitional period. Carrasco's getting older, Lukaku's getting older. It's Vertonghen's in his sort of latter years. It's a very intriguing situation from a Belgian perspective, and I think that it's going to be very interesting to see how they develop going forward and how their team progresses moving forward, going into the World Cup, going into the next Euros, etc., Nations League, that kind of thing. But for me, I think Belgium just need to keep their heads up, start looking at some of these younger players and promoting them through the door, and start looking at the next generation of Belgium going into the World Cup. It might be a transitional tournament for Belgium, but they'll still be looking to try and win it as much as they can. But we'll see what happens. But heads up to the Belgian fans. France, well done. Well done. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this review. Stay tuned for the final video today, Portugal versus Slovenia, coming up tonight. And for now, I'm the Chall. Ta-ra for now. That's full time. Mean that badge to you. Well done, France. Well done. You will not be saying You'll not be saying. You'll be saying bonjour to the quarterfinals rather than bon voyage.